Okay. Let's see if YouTube is cooperating with me today. Yesterday wasn't so cooperative. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that didn't work. Okay. All righty. Okay. We will not be turning around. Oh, and then I remember. Good morning, Lola. It's warming up. So let me give it one more opportunity to, at a minimum, so you can see the graphic once. Let's see if this works now. Okay. So I'm allowing it to warm up. Today, you will need a second device. I will go over some brain information prior to us getting into it. But today is Cognitive Fitness is Thinking Thursday. So let's go ahead, and I do apologize ahead of time. I'm having a very sinusitis day. So we will see how this goes. On my down, I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. And we're going to inhale and exhale 3 times to do some cleansing breaths just to quiet the amygdala, do some emotional regulation, and give a notification to the prefrontal cortex and the rest of the brain. We're going to use it today. 3, 2, 1. And here we go again. Gotta love it. One day, all this is going to work as designed. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Eaglin II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. As I indicated, today is Cognitive Fitness. It is Thinking Thursday, and you will need a second device because we will be using, and I didn't write this down. Give me 1 second. That playlist, so I want to ensure that I don't repeat myself. You will need a second device, so go ahead and locate that second device as I go over some cognitive information or some neuroscience information so you understand why we're doing what we're going to do today. So according to Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, Real Leaders Perspective, and it is grounded in neuroscience, here's what answering questions does for you from a brain region perspective. And you'll remember some of this from 2 days ago when we did cerebral gymnastics. So some of this information you will have heard or will be a little bit more familiar to you. So the regions that you use for curious questions, and that's asking the question and then answering the question. The prefrontal cortex, and that is the executive coach. Now the role is it directs higher order thinking. It organizes thoughts and it evaluates possible answers. And the reason why you want higher order thinking is because when you challenge yourself, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, the hippocampus rewards you with new neurons to be able to create those synaptic connections to allow you to be able to get to that next level in a challenge. Now, the function in curiosity is this: it guides the questioning process. It keeps your attention on the topic, which allows you to stay focused, which is another one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And it helps weigh evidence before responding. Be objective is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you don't make any decisions or do anything without a strategy, and that helps you remain objective. So you are strengthening your prefrontal cortex by asking curious questions and then answering them. Next is the hippocampus, and this is the memory librarian. And the role is to retrieve relevant facts, experiences, and store all of your knowledge. Now, in the function of curiosity, it connects current questions to past learning, and it helps form meaningful and contextualized answers. So it takes what you already know, and now it's considering this new information, and then it says, okay, here is what you can do about that information that you're taking in. Next is the temporal lobes, and this is the language and pattern hub. So the role is to process the language, interpret its meaning, and recognize patterns in information. And so its function and curiosity is it allows for clear articulation of answers and spotting other connections others might miss. So you're able to articulate your answers. If you're a person who cannot answer a question effectively, it is because you are not practicing curious questions, and then answering those questions for yourself. Number 4 is the ACC, and this is the focus regulator. And so what it does is it monitors attention, it detects conflicts, and it adapts thinking strategies. And your objective is to strengthen your prefrontal cortex so you are always strategically thinking. So the function as it regards to curiosity is that it helps shift your perspective when a question challenges existing beliefs. So it ensures open-minded exploration. So I'm going to say that again. You are challenging your existing beliefs when you have curious questions, when you have to reflect. Now you're saying, hold up, this is what I normally used to believe. So when I first, this is an old story, but when I first started on social media, I thought Snapchat was stupid. I was like, ain't nobody got time for this, even stupid memes and everything else. And I use the Snapchat lenses all the time, all the time, all the time. And so people will ask me, did you use CapCut to make this? Did you use, no, I used it as a Snapchat lens. Now I had to understand that my thinking of this is for little kids, this is for people in elementary, middle school and high school, this is dumb. And now I use it all the time. So I had to change. And I asked people, well, why are you using Snapchat? What it is? This is way back 2015, 2016 timeframe. So being open-minded instead of having a fixed mindset, being open-minded to what's actually taking place. Next is the amygdala. And the amygdala is the emotional relevance filter. So the amygdala is going to tag information with emotional significance. And when it comes to curiosity, it keeps the questioning process engaged and it empowers the brain to seek satisfying answers. Next and finally is the parietal lobes. This is the spatial analytical center. And so it handles abstract reasoning, comparison, and integration of sensory data. So the function when it comes to curiosity is it supports visualization of concepts and the integration of different data types when answering the question. Okay, so again, the regions that you're using when you're enacting, answering curious questions, asking them and answering them is the prefrontal cortex, the hippocampus, the temporal lobes, the ACC, the amygdala, and the parietal lobes. Now, what are the benefits? And again, this is according to me and backed by neuroscience. So the benefits is that it's not just an intellectual exercise, but it is a whole brain workout. When you get a question, it's curious, you answer it for yourself. You are using multiple regions to answer that question, and that's giving your brain an entire workout. And think about all of the connectivity that it takes in order for you to answer that question. It is a total whole brain workout. And again, it strengthens multiple cognitive, emotional, and leadership capacities. So, number one, these are the benefits. It strengthens neuroplasticity. So it encourages the formation of new neural pathways by connecting unfamiliar information and existing knowledge. Okay. Why it matters. It keeps the brain agile and adaptable, and it improves your ability to learn, problem solve, and pivot when circumstances change. So by asking curious questions and answering them, you are strengthening your neuroplasticity. You have to research, you have to think, you have to consider what information you have and what information that you need. So every time you ask a question, which is why, if you don't know, ask is also one of the 74 principles of real leadership, you are strengthening your neuroplasticity and your prefrontal cortex. Next, it enhances memory integration. So it deepens your connection between the hippocampus and the cortical areas, improving both short-term and long-term retention, both of which you need in order to have an effective working memory day in and day out. And so why does this matter? Because it allows you to draw from a richer pool of knowledge when making decisions and explaining concepts. So your objective is to be your very own walking Google, walking ChatGPT. You have 86 billion neurons with the potential to create 860 trillion synaptic connections or more. You have the ability to do that in your own brain. So when you keep asking questions, curious questions, and answering them, you are tapping into that and you are broadening your knowledge reservoir, which is one of the PAs in Real Leader Brain that I did yesterday. So this is for you. Next, it boosts your executive function. So it strengthens the prefrontal cortex's ability to plan, prioritize, and evaluate information. And why this matters is because it improves leadership decision making, critical thinking, and the ability to filter bias when evaluating new ideas. So when you are asking curious questions and answering them, you are removing biases. People attempt to come on this live all the time with their biases, their confirmation biases, conformity bias, negativity bias, and everything else, and it doesn't work because I have so much information. My synaptic connections are synapting like a mofo. So it's virtually impossible for them to be successful. You have been here and you have watched them fail, and it is because of the amount of questions that I'm asking and answering of myself every single day. So my prefrontal cortex is extremely strong. My executive function, my inhibition control, my cognitive flexibility, and my working memory are extremely strong. They're sitting on Iron Man status, if we had to say how strong they are. Next is it improves emotional intelligence. And so you engage the amygdala and the ACC in ways that build emotional regulation and empathy. So what happens is if you don't regulate your emotions and they become dysregulated, you are going to make all your decisions based upon emotions. Everything you do is going to be to satisfy the amygdalas, and you're going to see comfort and convenience all the time to your own detriment. But why this matters is when it helps you answer questions in a way that connects with people on both an intellectual and an emotional level. And so you are being regulated. You are cool as the other side of the pillow because of the work that you're doing outside of just interacting with people. Number 5, it increases focus and cognitive flexibility. Cognitive flexibility is part of the executive function of the brain, which is located in the prefrontal cortex. So the benefit is that it strengthens the ACC's role in attention switching and adaptive thinking. And that's how you are able to task jump. Now, why this matters is because it's easier to navigate complex or unexpected questions without losing your composure or your clarity. If one person can ask you a question and completely throws you off your square, you need to start asking curious questions and answering them so that you can strengthen your cognitive flexibility. And it happens, I don't know if you've ever seen somebody being interviewed live. When people get interviewed on shows, the questions are given to them ahead of time. And so they act like, I don't know what I'm about to do to answer it, but they're prepared. But you can also see when an interviewer has given them the questions, but then they ask them a question that was not part of the script because that person goes, well, and let me explain. And no. And so that's a lack of cognitive flexibility because off the cuff, when you have a strong cognitive flexibility, you're able to pause, process it, and then answer the question and move on. Number 6 is it encourages pattern recognition and creativity. And the benefit is that the temporal lobes and the parietal lobes link patterns and think divergently. And why this matters is it enhances innovative thinking and the ability to see connections others overlook. Anybody who's participated in a PA challenge, you get, especially third, fourth challenge, you get to those words or you're doing real leader resources and you're like, how, and Nola was at sugar the other day and I mentioned this. She was like, how did you take sugar and attach it to the brain like that? I didn't. So it allows you to do these very creative things that you would have never thought about because you are tapping into the temporal and parietal lobes. And now the last one is it builds leadership credibility. How would curious questions and answering them build leadership credibility? It's because it demonstrates competence, preparedness, and openness to dialogue. Communicate effectively is one of the 74 principles of leadership. And in order to do that, you have to ask questions, you have to answer questions. You need a very sound hippocampus with a lot of information in it. Working memory needs to be able to grab that information immediately, effectively, and be able to distribute it so that you can problem solve. And so it helps you do all of these things. It helps you to interact with people, listen effectively, lead by example, be coachable. There are several more, or those are some of the principles of real leadership that you can use. And so why does this matter? Because it positions you in a trustworthy and resourceful leader, as a trustworthy and resourceful leader who thrives in dynamic environments. So I'm giving you this information. So as we go back to the YouTube channel homepage for me, because you're already there, you'll understand that while it seems like you're just looking at the question and answering the question, you are using 6 different brain regions, and then you are having 7 different benefits from what appears to be this simple exercise. As the creator of neuromobility and the person who is teaching you, the only person in the entire world who is teaching you how your brain functions and how you use it every single day to access your best, the goal is for this to be something that you can do without all of this other stuff. And I was in my default mode network time yesterday, and it came to me as I was meditating. Neuromobility is how you strengthen the prefrontal cortex and regulate the emotions. It is how you do it. The 74 principles of real leadership give you the strength for your prefrontal cortex to be as strong as it possibly can, to function at the highest level and regulate those emotions so that you find yourself navigating through your day like you've never been able to navigate before. You find yourself tapping into and accessing your best day in and day out without even really thinking about it, because it's just part of who you are and who you are becoming. So I'm definitely getting a Nobel Prize, without a doubt, because I have doggone penicillin. I have E equals MC squared. This is how you change human behavior for best. Not how you look at a diseased brain and make it less disease or get it to normal, but how you take this extraordinary brain, this extraordinary organ, and turn it into a bad mofo, yourself. So this is how you get it done. Unorthodox as hell. You couldn't, it don't even seems like it makes any sense whatsoever, but then it makes perfect sense. This is the answer to changing humanity, and we're going to do it today by simply answering some questions. So if you haven't gotten your second device, go ahead and gather your second device. And what you're going to do is go to the home page of my YouTube channel, and hopefully the selfie light won't be in the way. So you are going to be under the live, and you will be at the Curious Questions playlist level 5. That's what you'll be looking at. And when you get there, let me know, give me a thumbs up, so we will all be there at the same time. Curious Questions level 5, homepage of the Turnaround Doctors YouTube channel. And now this is the part where you get to participate. And so once you say yeah, yes, Kevin, I do have on earrings. And what has happened is I have been having on earrings, but the earrings that I was wearing was silver hoops and gold hoops. And because it's a green screen, you can't see them. And so, yes, I do wear earrings on every live. Now, remember before I said I was wearing that one headband wig so people wouldn't hit on me and try to get with me. But then I said, fuck that. I don't want to just keep having on that same wig. So, yeah, I've been wearing earrings, but you can't see them because of the green screen. So, yes, I do have on earrings, but I've had earrings on for months now. They just wouldn't show up. So these just show up on the thing. Part of the reason why I have earrings on is because the older you get, if you don't put earrings in your ear, you wait a couple days, the holes will close up. So, yes. I'm going out after this. I'm a night on the town. No, absolutely not. No, I've been having them on. Yep, since I stopped just wearing that one headband wig. So that's been a couple months. Okay, but is it clear? Logo said it's clear. We are now doing organized sports. Is going to be the first question. That was your curious question of the day. Got it. You had 2. Did I miss something? And do you have on earrings? Yes. And now you got your answer. Okay. So the first question is organized sports, and it's like a silhouette outline of me on there. So go ahead and answer that question. Organized sports. So after you watch the video, ... and then answer the question. What sport, Lola? So, Sean, we are on the home page of the YouTube channel. Oh, hold up, I forgot. We are on the home. I would see. This is why we need a mute button. You're on the home page of the YouTube channel, and we just did Curious Questions #1. So it's Curious Questions playlist. Today is Cognitive Fitness Thinking Thursday, and we are expanding 6 brain regions by answering curious questions. Yes, so you should be, and now you're gonna see me in the corner, but we're gonna be on this second question right here next. The first question is, if you want to answer before, because you just got here, is did you play organized sports in high school? And so I ran track and cross country. Now people will say that ROTC is not an organized sport, but it actually is, because we actually go to camps in the summer. We actually have competitions at the end of the year, cadet challenge, and you can actually get a scholarship for it. And we go, like the football players practice and other sports practice 5 days a week. We went to PT 5 days a week. So JROTC and ROTC are actually sports, because we still got to be in shape to go in the Army to go make shit happen. So yes, football, wrestling, track, and field. Yes, so I did long jump, 100, 200, and 4x1, 4x2, as well as cross country, which I hate long distance running. Never have liked it, not my thing. Yes, track and a cheerleader. Okay, so the next question is, have you ever been? So I'm gonna leave it at that, because if I say it, then you could just answer the question. But watch the next video. I have on a green shirt. Next video is, have you ever been blank? So how this works, Sean, is you watch the video, ... to let me know you watched it, and then answer the question. And part of the reason why I'm answering the questions today is because the chat was enabled yesterday. So thank you, YouTube, for that. There we go. And my amazing offspring said no as well. Lola said no, but I'm interested. Yes. I repelled out of helicopters. I spent some time in some helicopters when I was in the Army, so I'm good. I have almost died 8 times, so that's not something that I'm not looking for excitement. Most people do it on a birthday, a big birthday, 40, 50, 60, 65, 70, 80, something like that. They do it then as a thrill-seeking thing, and I get it. I understand. Sometimes you gotta go, no, I haven't. I can't find a reason to jump out of something designed to carry me. Yes. And people say that all the time, but it is supposed to be this thrill. Yeah, 80 years old skydiving. Yes, there was a woman who went skydiving. I think she was in her 80s or her 90s, and then the next day she died. Not because of the skydiving, but yeah, it was a story, I think, on TikTok or somewhere I saw it. And then Sean says no. Okay. The third question is, which one do you use? Which one do you use? Lola said my thumbs. And my answer is I use my fingers. I tried using my thumbs. It takes too long. I started learning how to type when I was in middle school in the 8th grade. And that's just how I remember the keyboard. So I literally have a turnaround challenge that says text the opposite way. So if you use your thumbs, use your fingers. If you use your fingers, use your thumbs. And in fact, I use my middle finger and I will boom, 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 boom. And I admire people that use their thumbs, but there's no way. Plus, if y'all can, I don't know if y'all can see or hear that, but this thumb can pop back in place. So that's part of it. I'm a thumber. There's no way that I can thumb, especially since my hand is injured from now I can now it's because my hand is injured from air assault school. That's part of the reason why doing this, all this starts hurting. So I just sit there with my one finger and I can type like nobody's business. But I'm definitely not a thumber. And I think it might be because of how long I was typing on a keyboard before. So my thumb can't even see where the keys are because the thumb is for the space bar when you got a keyboard, especially when you're typing on a typewriter. So my thumb is like, where is that letter? Where is that? So it's a very interesting concept. Really is. Let me get back in here because this is when I go. Nope. Okay. Give me 1 second, y'all. I didn't tap myself right on out of here. Okay. Let's see if I can do that. Here we go. Okay. The next question is, do you put, yeah, I'm going to say it's salt in your food is the next one. So watch it and then answer it. And I apologize. My screen is buffering on my other device. I will have to listen and apparently running like dial up. If you, I don't know if you got unlimited data, but sometimes you got to take one of them off Wi-Fi for them both to work at the same time when they're right next to each other. So if you have unlimited data, then take one of them off of Wi-Fi, and that usually works better. But the question is, do you salt your food? Yes or no? Yeah. Nola said, I forgot people do that. Salt the food. You said you forgot that people salt their food. Yeah, people do it after. People literally won't even taste it. And I forgot what, back in the day, I forgot what main CEO used to do it, but he would take, it might have been Ford or somebody. He would take people to lunch or a hot meal, not breakfast, but a lunch or a dinner. And then he would sit and watch if they literally, for they were interviewing for the job. And he would literally watch them. And if they put salt on their food before they tasted it, he wouldn't hire them because he was saying that you're not paying attention to what's taking place. So you're not even going to check to see if you actually need to do salt. And so that means that you are excessive because you're going to put salt on it no matter what it tastes like without tasting it first. I cannot remember who it was. I want to say it's Ford. It's probably not. I'm probably wrong. But that was a method that they used in hiring people, hiring senior level executives. Lola said, I do, but I really need to stop because of high blood pressure. Okay, well, stop. Today is the day. Get rid of the salt. If you got high blood pressure, you definitely don't need no salt. Throw it all away. Tell your son, y'all going salt free. No more salt. Not lately. And so part of it is if you're African American, it was from us coming from Africa, being on the ships and all that dumb shit. Yeah, it was a 3-hour tour, right? No, it wasn't. So anyway, now it's just built up in our system, and it's actually a generational curse to have that much salt, seasoning, salt, because it don't taste right. What's happening is you're actually addicted to the salt, and so food doesn't taste natural to you unless it's salted. And I understand we needed it because we got the terrible food, the salt preserved it and all of that, but you don't need that anymore. We got refrigerators and air conditioner. You can try this is Dash, Lola. This is what you can do today, Lola, is ask ChatGPT for some salt alternatives. And it's going to take a minute. Food will taste foreign to you, and then you'll be able to taste the naturalness of the salt, of the salt not being there, and then the flavors of the food. Your tongue palate will change, and then you'll actually be able to start actually tasting the real food. But yeah, go ahead and challenge yourself. One of the 74 principles of real leadership, but get rid of that salt. And I say it all the time. Thank you, God, higher power, universe, and good health. Is I don't have, the only thing I have is low white blood cell and red blood cell count, and that's just happening because of all the things that took place inside of my military time and a couple things for my DNA. She could do Old Bay and Tony's too, and Mrs. Dash. Yes, and some of that has high sodium. Okay, good morning, Lorenzo. So just look at other things and then just use the recommended amounts of seasonings when you cook, and that will help you as well. But no high blood pressure, no gout, no cholesterol, none of those things that you can get or you will start to have by the time you get my age. Now, everybody else in my family does. My sister, I don't know because I don't talk to her at all, but prior, yes, and Trader Joe's has good seasonings too. So just do that for yourself so you can be here for another 20, 30 years with no high blood pressure and get off that. Because the whole point is if you can get off of medication. Now, some medication, I get it, diabetics, type 1, you need the insulin, I get it. But anything that you can through engineer out through diet and exercise, that is your objective. Because anytime you're taking medication, it's impacting your neural pathways. And so we know that from the synapses, that there is a postsynaptic connection and a presynaptic, pre and post. And when you come together, the dendrites, there's a receptor, and neurotransmitters go into that cell, that axon. And so now you have this connection, and that's what medicine does. So the medicine goes in, and now your neural pathways will start needing the release of the medicine. So if you can do it naturally, now your body is taking it in naturally. But when it's synthetic, is processing it as if it is synthetic, and now you start being dependent on the medication, and the naturalness of your body is rejecting it. It's like, I don't want that. Where's the salt? Where's the sugar? Where's the caffeine? When you can actually use adenosine and other natural things. So vitamins are good. Your body produces those naturally, but it's these other synthetic things that it doesn't produce. So what's happening is the medicine is an inhibitor. And so with any of the medication, it's trying to stop making the blood pressure go up. So, but the salt is what's making it go up. So if you take the salt out, then the medicine doesn't have to be there to inhibit that connection. So you have excitatory connections and inhibitory connections. And the medicine is either making it excited or making it inhibited. And in that instance, that's what it's doing. So I know I went off on a whole nother, like, what the fuck, Dr. Tom? Don't eat salt. Okay, next, let's see what we got here. Okay, it worked again. All right, so you're going to use that drop-down menu, that little arrow, and you're going to use that V, that little arrow that went down. It was an upside-down V, and you're going to go to the next video, which is here. And which one is worse? So you're watching a which one is worse video. It's like I'm in bio 143 again. Yes, you are in bio. Actually, you're in neuromobility 101. That's where you are. But which one is worse is the next video. Which one is worse? Okay, Nola has said fear because of fear paralysis. I'm totally out of it. That's the arrow. I've said fear because fear stops you from doing anything. So that's how you end up with regret and everything else, because fear for me is how you end up not doing anything. And Lola says regret. And why, Lola, did you pick regret? So you can answer, when you answer why as well. We got time this morning. I got time today. Okay. It is fear. Y'all here? Let me look on here. Please don't tell me the chat got messed up again. All right, let me go back out and come back in again. See what we got. Okay, there we go. Kevin has an answer. And Kevin says, regret mostly likely the action has taken place and you undo the action. Okay. So are you saying you regret like marriage and now that, woo, why did I say I do what I should have said I don't? Yeah. Still feeling the ramifications of that decision. Oh, why? Oh, why? What was I thinking? Yeah. It's a couple things that I did that I just was not like, just not for me. Other people can do it. And everything isn't for everybody. That's the beauty of being in the world. I'm sure you all couldn't get up every day and study the brain, master the brain, and teach others how to do the same. So definitely. Okay. The next question is best movie ever. Best movie ever. So watch the video. And the one thing, remember, ... a brain or something, so I know that you've watched it. Lola said, I regret some of my decisions. Got it. And here's the one thing that I will say while you're all watching the next one. What is so it's the best movie ever. Here's what I will say. If you are a person that just runs in and burning buildings and everything else, then, and you attack fear all the time, I believe you will say fear. And if you are a person who's fear adverse and then you just make decisions, then I believe that's why you will pick the answer regret. As I'm sitting here looking at the two responses together, that yes, only one, Nola, only one. So the reason why I'm saying that is because fear is, oh my goodness, if I don't do this, then, I got to do this because I don't want to not have done it. And then regret is, why the hell did I do that? And so the balance is to take decisions, make them basically from a strategic perspective so that you attack the fear and then you know why you're doing it. So then you don't regret it because you were looking at the strategy. All right. Sean said when the decision was already clear, then they changed their mind, leaving doubt in the conversation. So you're saying doubt, or where is the doubt coming from? The fear. The answers were fear and regret, Sean. So I'm trying to understand. You're saying the doubt is the regret, and then Nola said the best movie you ever watched was Scarface, and why was it your best movie you ever watched? Nola. Doubt of fear. Okay, now I understand. Thank you very much. Yes. And so fear will paralyze you. That's the left and right amygdala's job. When you are wired by, you could only pick one. I know, but I'm saying why why did you pick Scarface as the best movie ever? I made some bad decisions when I was younger. Yes, I get that too, Lola. And one thing that I will say is, and this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, when in your school system, but in my school system, which was Detroit Public Schools, Michigan schools, Alabama schools, and Florida schools, I wasn't taught decision making. I wasn't. The color purple, Lola, got it. I wasn't taught decision making. So it's not a class that we have. And I always go back to, why do we have to have 12 years of English in America? I wasn't taught decision making. So at what point, and then it's the whole notion that your parents were supposed to teach you it. Who taught it to them? Well, your grandparents were supposed to teach you it, but who taught it to them? So when did we sit down at home or at school with a decision making tree for life? When did those conversations occur? And especially after you're finished with school in adult life, you don't go to adulting 101. You graduate from high school or you're finished, you're 18, and then it's like, boom, you're an adult. Go make better decisions. Where? Where is the decision making? In college, they don't have decision making 101. Lorenzo, you're in college. There's no decision making 101, 201, 301, 401. I got a bachelor's degree in decision making. They don't have it. So I'm saying that, Lola, to say when you know better, you do better. But nobody trained us to do it. Okay, Lorenzo, Lola said the color purple. Nola said, I mean, the plot. I could watch it over and over again. It's a cult classic. Okay, Lola said color purple. Why color purple, Lola? Lorenzo said Kill Bill showed me I can be bad all by myself. In addition, she rose above them all despite them hating. And then, whose is this? Okay, who typed? Oh, I don't even know what that is. Okay. Kevin said the Thomas Crown affair, like the action, power of money, and the romance. And then Sean said Pastor Brown movie, because of the journey his daughter chose to lead, came back. It brought me to tears. Okay. And Lola said, I can relate. I understand that. Nola retracted her message. Lorenzo said, there's no decision making. The most they have is like career path classes and still doesn't have problem solving. Teaches how to get a job. Teaches you how to get a job. Got it. Thank you for that, because Lorenzo, you are currently the only person that's in college right now. I can relate to the old movies. Okay. Nola took my answer, so I'm going to go with 9 to 5. This is my second choice on my list. And the reason why is because in 9 to 5, it was showing me my future in corporate America. It was showing me what was going to happen as an African-American woman in corporate America. The men were going to do less. They was going to take the credit for it, and somebody else was going to get promoted. I didn't hog tie nobody up and take them prisoner and put them in a friend of mine's house. I didn't do that, but it was just showing you. It was also showing you what you can do in the workplace when you don't have the bureaucracy there, right there, big brother looking down on you. We gotta do it this way. So that's why. And I like the theme song as well. Okay, cool. Next question on the list is television or social media. So watch the video and let us know what your response is. Is television or social media? And then Nola said, well, it was a toss-up between that and Godfather 2, Lethal Weapon, and Die Hard. So I had to pick that. My bad. It's okay. I mean, it is what it is. It's still in our top 5. I mean, you are my child. I'm from the cut. So that was, I mean, it's rare to meet an African American from Detroit and they're not saying Scarface. Most people have a poster or something. And the funny story, while you are answering the question, Scarface came out, I believe, in 1983. So that made me, I was 10 or 11. And my older sister, always doing something bad. I could have said Paid in Full too. But her and her friend, the Mercury Theater over there on the west side, they literally paid the guy extra for us to be able to go see Scarface. So I saw Scarface in the movie theater with a 16-year-old. Wait a minute. If I was 10 or 11, a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, and me. And they didn't let us watch the uncut version of Scarface at the movie theater. Gotta love. Only in the 80s would they allow that to occur. Nobody was 18 at all. At all. And so I literally saw Scarface at the movie theater. Gotta love that dysfunctional childhood. Where were the adults? Who knows? All right. Noah says social media. I would have to say social media at this point because we don't even have a TV no more. And apparently, according to my offspring, I never watched TV correctly in the first place. So I was always doing something else with it. So definitely social media, because this is where all my information comes. This is where I get it from. This is where I post it. This is how I interact with my students and the public and the global communities. So my answer would definitely be social media, 1000%. And not from an addictive perspective. I'm not like, oh my God, I was on social media for 6 hours yesterday. That's not how it works at all. But yeah, television is television. And I'm amazed at how many people still have televisions in their home. We switched to a screen. And then I'm just thinking, what are they gonna do? And now, because CES is here, Consumer Exchange Show, it happens here every January, they now have hologram TVs that will probably scale and be available to the public within the next 5 years. So if you think of big giant fish tanks, the picture is going to be able to come through the television and be hologrammed. So they are now featuring that at CES. And so I've saw several times where whatever happens at CES, just like with the auto show in Michigan, give it 3 to 5 years and the public will have access to it. It will have scaled to the point where you'll be able to use hologram televisions. Okay. Social media for sure for Kevin. Social media for sure for Kevin. Anybody else before we go to the next pregunta? The question. Pregunta del día. All right, I gotta go back out again. I don't understand why this thing stops and pauses if I'm in live and I'm live. Like, how can it tell that it's me? I understand with chat, but this is insane. Okay. Got it, Lola. So what happened was, give me a second. There we go. Lola said I texted already. I didn't see it. Oh, you said the last text I have for you, Lola, is I can relate to the older movies. So Kevin says social media for sure. Sean said, I am a toss. TV for live news, but social media for learning. More that has more perspective for life. So social for growth. Yeah. So social media. Okay. All right. Now let's get to the next question on the list. And the next question on the list is repelling. Repelling. I don't have to look at that question because I already know my answer. So remember, after you watch the video, ... brain thinking something, so I know that you're still there, that the chat is still enabled, and we are still going forward in forward progresiones. That is not a real Spanish word. Do not say that. Don't do that. That's a Dr. Donna-ism. So repelling. So Nola, is that your no to the next question? So 2 more questions. Okay, got it. No. TV, because I can decide on what I want to watch. I like watching The Judge and animal shows. Okay. And the next question, Lola, is repelling. Kevin said no. Sean said no. Am I the only repeller on the live? So when you go to basic training, even though basic training is now 6 weeks, 10 weeks instead of 6, you have to go off of, if you are at Fort Jackson, Columbia, South Carolina, you are going to go off of Victory Tower. And you're going to have the power. Nope. Most of the time, you're going to fall flat on that wall. So you have to rappel in ROTC in college, basic training. You're going to do some rappelling if you go to advanced camp. You might even do some recondo, which is water tactics. And then if you get stationed at the mighty Fort Campbell 101st Screaming Eagle Air Assault, you are going to Air Assault School if you want to command. So yes, I have rappelled off the wall, and I have rappelled out of helicopters in combat gear, and I got the wounds to prove it. And it ain't nothing like rappelling out of a helicopter. That's what I will say. You quit ROTC. Why'd you do that? So when you're on the wall is there. But when y'all see it all the time, watch any of the old Vietnam movies, and they're like, and all that, come on, Black Bear, you know, all these different songs, and it seemed cool. But just think about it. It's a rope. And that's it. And they call us dope on the ropes. You get, if you're in the military, the airborne people and the aerosol people go back and forth. Some people have both, depending on if you're trying to be all tabbed out, hua. But it's a rope. And the wind. I don't know if y'all ever saw the wind, but the helicopter is helicoptering, and the wind, and you sometimes you can fast rope it down, but sometimes you in aerosol school, you got to do 3 breaks 90 feet up in the air. So that means you got to stop yourself 3 times before you get to the ground. And it's cool when you don't have your combat gear on, but when you have on your Kevlar and your rucksack and you're going back on the rope, that's different. That's a whole nother level of body strength. I like the adrenaline. Yes. So I recommend doing it off the wall if you're going to do it, Lola. Don't do it in a helicopter. And if you climbed the rope when you were in high school or you know, middle school, you had the rope. It's just different when that helicopter is moving. So yes, I've done it off the wall and in the helicopter. And Sean said I was scared to jump building and ground. I was scared. It was only 30 feet. That wall, I tell you, because what's happening is you're like, how do I get my body parallel when my body wants to go vertical? So it is not for the faint at heart. That is for sure. Okay. Yeah, so Lola, looks like you need to be giving up salt and going to find some walls to jump off of, and you love roller coasters. So definitely you got to get skydiving, or at least rappelling. Rappelling is easier, to simpler to get to than skydiving. You got to coordinate and everything, but they have to have rock climbing walls or something where you are. That will get you there, I'm sure, if you look up rappelling in your area. But you got to do it, because if you love it, then you need that adrenaline rush. So I'm saying go for it. All right, the next question is, who's better? No, I'm sorry. My bad. Loved or feared? Loved or feared is the next question. Loved or feared? Oh, right, and you work on the roof too. Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. And Nola has been on the roof a couple times. Not a fan of it. I'm not. I've been up, and like I said, we've been up in 27 floors, skyscrapers, building patio furniture, and with glass balconies and windy and all that. That's just not my thing. That's just, I mean, I will do it as a part of my profession at the time, but it's just not something that I want to be doing. Lorenzo said, feared, love isn't respect. Got it. And this question came from Machiavelli, the prince, because everybody says it, especially the dope dealers. Well, the Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved. So yeah, I want to be feared. That's not the actual quote. I read the whole book. It says it is better to be loved than feared. But if you have to pick one, choose fear. That's the actual what happens in the book. But everybody has misinterpreted that to say Machiavelli said it's better to be feared than loved. And Lola, Sean said you are brave. And so in this instance, I will say loved, because of fear is just people are afraid of you. So just because someone is afraid of you doesn't mean that they respect you. And I have had this question on lives before, and I believe it's a curious question. Would you rather be loved or respected? And in that instance, then I would say respected over love. So I'll choose respect over love, but I choose love over fear, because it's affection. Okay. And Mr. Hook, are you there? We have time for one more question. We got through a lot of them, though. All right. Last question of the day. Fitted bed sheet. Fitted bed sheet. Go ahead and watch it and then answer it. Yes, the respect, but I did that on purpose because yes, I got a typo. So if you got to choose between, and I say money or famous, I do that a lot because now people are like, ugh, but this and that, just like with the one movie with Nolan saying, but I got 5. Why did you ask for the top 5? I do ask for the top 5 in turnaround challenge. Okay, so the last one is fitted bed sheet. Fitted bed sheet. No. Nola said, heck no, I'm trash at it. We do a lot of organizations, and yesterday we had to make up a bed. And yeah, and one time we was at somebody's house, I was organizing the closet, and they asked Nola did the linen closet, and it was nothing but fitted bed sheets in there. Oh my goodness. You think YouTube blocked your reply to the last question, which was fear or love? Put it in the middle of another question, Kevin. I don't see it being blocked, but hell, yesterday they wouldn't even let me type on my own chat. So, yes, just make it work. I do know how to fold a fitted sheet, and I happened to be watching Martha Stewart on Oprah many moons ago. I used to have Martha Stewart everything when she was in Kmart. And so I learned how to fold a fitted sheet in how it needs to be fitted so that it looks like the flat sheet when you fold it. Nola says she put me on sheets when she knew I couldn't fold sheets. I did not know what was in that cabinet. Remember when she sent the photo, she did not tell us that it was going to be fitted sheets in there. I did not put you on that. That's not what happened. I came back and folded the fitted sheets properly. I didn't leave you out there. You weren't ODFing. Fitted sheets are annoying, especially folded. I can fold it. Not saying it's going to look good, but I can. No, can you fold it properly? Yeah, there, Mr. Hook. Can you fold it so that it looks like the flat sheet? When you put them together, they both look like it. And they now have videos because Martha had to teach us how to do it. You have to take the ends, put it together, put your elbow in, fold it all in to get it a square, and then you can do it. It's because you didn't want to be by the pit bull, by the blind pit bull. That is correct. I did not want to be by the blind pit bull because the pit bull still had teeth. The pit bull still had teeth. Well, I tell y'all, if we actually had a show, it would be so damn... It would be so funny. Some of the stuff that we had, oh my goodness. Some days are just like no good at it at all. Okay, got it. Let me go ahead and do the brain bit for today, and then we're going to get to our last questions, and let me get in that. It's a tough thing, and they don't teach you how to fold a fitted sheet in school either. I had home ec, but all we did, I hated Miss Harris. She was a terrible home ec teacher. All we did was burn food, because she couldn't cook. I was like, how you the home ec teacher and you can't cook? But anyway, we made some curtains for her room. She had us sewing curtains for the whole damn semester for her room. I can't pick comedy back up. Who's going to change the world? Who's going to change the world if I pick comedy back up again? Okay, so here's the brain bit. Yeah, so home ec needs to teach us how to, and she did, and they was hideous too. And she had the pleats on them and everything. She's like, no, and it has to be cut on the bias. Now listen, and when we finally finished, she hung them curtains up in her classroom because we didn't know. We didn't know we was making curtains for her classroom. And then she didn't have these curtains. She lucky we was in the 8th grade, because if I'd have been in the 7th grade, I'd tore them damn curtains down. She'd got back over the summer and wouldn't have had and curtain on them damn windows. I learned in school when they keep telling women we're only going to clean house. Yes, they were so wrong. They were, Lola, and that's because of how old you are. Not that you're old, but they definitely was telling you, so when you get married, and you got to make sure that you can do. But by the time I got the home ec in the 80s, we wasn't learning how to fold fitted sheets no more. Yes, but you can learn now. So definitely. Okay, so here's the brain bit, and then we're going to answer 2 questions and go. The brain bit is a curious question that's from Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, and it's about curious questions. So a real leader knows curiosity is not just a trait, it's a brain workout. Asking curious questions activates the prefrontal cortex for problem solving. It engages the hippocampus to connect new ideas with stored knowledge, and it sparks the reward system for dopamine-fueled learning. Curiosity doesn't just find answers, it builds the neural pathways that makes you sharper, wiser, and more adaptable. And that is from Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers via ChatGPT. So the two questions that I have for you today, I actually have three. Number one is the two questions, number 1 and 2 are the same questions we have every day. And that is, what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And did you get a dopamine release from curious questions? So question 1, what did you learn today? Question 2, what did you learn about yourself? And question 3, did you receive your dopamine release, your natural dopamine release? Life will see. About me. All right, my offspring is typing her 3 dots. Let me see if y'all can see the graphics without getting kicked out. All right, those are the graphics that I created today. Up at the top, I have use it or lose it. That is the prefrontal cortex. In the center, we have feature the brain regions used in answering curious questions. On the left side, we have cognitive fitness as a whole brain workout. It keeps you agile and adaptable. And in the bottom corner, we have the brain regions for answering curious questions. And part of the reason why I'm doing this is because on the replay, you'll actually be able to see everything without any of the comments. All right, let me see what y'all said. And I knew that was going to happen. And I done made a damn highlight instead of putting my green screen back up. All right. Okay. My amazing offspring said, I learned about myself that I am better at answering questions. Mr. Hook said, today, I'm okay with never jumping out of a helicopter. Noah said, I learned people sought food and that I'm not the only one bad at folding fitted sheets. Lola said, yes, I did get my dopamine boost, and especially when I thought about jumping out of a plane, roller coaster in the sky, and jumping. Yes. Kevin said, myself, I'm a master of asking curious questions. And then Noah said, I learned about the brain. Curious questions helps develop the prefrontal cortex and helps with problem solving. That is correct. So what I would like to say is the rest of you continue to answer your final questions. So Kevin and Nola, did you get your dopamine boost? Lola has already answered that. Here's the thing. Your brain is an amazing organ. It is the most valuable organ in your entire body because it tells everything else what to do. But learning can be fun. And this is an example of that. So you all found out a bunch of information about each other, about yourselves, and you got this natural dopamine release from answering you. And I'm overboosted today. All right, cool. That's amazing. So it was a simple thing. And these are simple questions that are from 6 years ago. So think about whatever you were doing 6 years ago and where you were. I was on the internet making curious questions. Hence my answer for social media. But this is something that you can do. It is enjoyable and you feel empowered. Empower others is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Your nucleus accumbens release some dopamine for you. And now you have this euphoric natural feeling and you didn't have to go somewhere else. So you didn't need a bunch of people showing up. You didn't even need any music. And it was just something naturally that happens. And so what you have done is the firing and wiring of neurons to create this synaptic connection that allows you to have this neural pathway for you to start answering and asking curious questions. I wonder why. What is this going to do? And you now have the ability to get it answered from the internet, so you don't have to worry about a human being saying, that's a dumbass question. Chat has never told me, Dr. Donna, that's a dumbass question. It's never happened. So get to be curious. My pleasure. Sean, I learned that it's okay to be scared, to jump out of high places. And yes, I got my dopamine fix. Yes, ma'am. Dopamine release. I am not your pusher woman, but you got your dopamine release. It was a natural release of dopamine. Yes, that is what happened. And so we did it on purpose. And it was not manipulative. It was definitely by design. And that's why it's important to not just learn about the brain, but actually implement it and use it. And so what this is also doing is giving you the ability to answer questions about yourself without feeling judged. And like, oh my God, I can't fold a fitted sheet. Now Nola knows there's a bunch of y'all that can't fold a fitted sheets. And now we know that Lola can do it because they told her in school, get used to this because this is the rest of your life. And she building houses. Ha ha ha. Sucks to be them. That's what they thought. Okay. So great job today at answering the questions. As always, Cognitive Fitness is Thinking Thursday, and it gives you the ability to use your brain as it was designed to be used in the neurological way that benefits you first. And Lola said, I learned that I need to stop procrastinating or stop eating salt. And really, you taught me about the brain and how it works. Yes, ma'am. So today's the day. Get rid of the salt. If you was looking for a sign, this is it. So get rid of the salt because you need to be here for Act 3. You got a good 30, 35 more years to be here. So be salt free. Yes, ma'am. There's plenty of alternatives out there. 100%. Okay. So in summary, start to use your brain in a way that works best for you. Use your brain. Use your brain. Don't let somebody else use your brain. It's not like the library back in the day. Don't let nobody check out none of your neural pathways. You use your brain for you. You use your brain for you and what it is that you want to do. And together, we're going to be able to change the world. And when I am there accepting my Nobel Prize, all of the originals will be there in the audience. And you'll be like, I remember when we were just on YouTube Live and she didn't change the whole damn world. Look at that. Go ahead, Doc, with your bad self. You are a part of this research in changing the human dynamic and allowing people to stop having negativity bias and start using neuroprobability so we can all have this peaceful, amazing existence everywhere we go. Not just right here in the morning, but everywhere you go. Everywhere I go, there's a real leader there. That's my army in me. Anyway, everywhere we go, we can have real leaders there, and it will be this amazing neuroconnectivity experience where we will be extrapolating, exchanging information from each other, and going off to be our bad mofo selves. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power, and the universe, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.